So how much are you willing to pay to see Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal box? What's up, it's Ant Walker here with Ringside Intel, and let's talk about this pay-per-view price, and of course, we'll talk a little bit about the brawl too. So Thursday's press conference kind of went exactly the way you think a Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal press conference could go, right? The two guys who are sort of this embodiment of anytime, any place, and will fight anybody on site, and they have multiple backstage and press conference dust-ups and whatnot to refer to. They get into something again, obviously, right? Nate Diaz very clearly tired of this promotional tour that's going on to get this fight up and running, and he pretty much decided he was just going to walk off again, and that obviously ticked off Masvidal, leading to this huge brawl that escalated between the camps. I believe it was one of Masvidal's coaches got beat up pretty badly, and then there was a secondary altercation in the hallway inside the Honda Center. I mean, I don't really think there's a whole lot to dissect here. We kind of know what to expect from these two, and quite honestly, it wasn't exactly the most thrilling of some of the extracurricular fights that we've seen in the buildup to actual sanctioned fights. I believe the real story here is the fact that FanMeal announced the pay-per-view price, coincidentally the same day that this brawl took place. And for FanMeal's sake, I certainly hope that this generated a lot of interest for the event, because they are asking for $79.99. That's right, $80. If that seems steep to you, that's because it is. That's the same price that UFC fans pay to watch every single numbered event, and it's $10 more than fans paid to see both Usyk Fury and the very, very stacked Queensberry versus Matchroom card. I mean, there are some interesting things that are going on the undercard. I mean, we do have Anthony Pettis versus Chris Avila. Chris Avila, obviously not the most decorated of MMA fighters, but a Team Diaz member who finds himself on these cards and always is in exciting fights against a former UFC champion. Does have some intrigue. It's also important to note that former super middleweight champ Danny Jacobs is going to be on this card as well. He's fighting the son of a boxing legend, Shane Mosley Jr. So that does sound like a very interesting fight. And $80, I'm not quite sure this is something that fans are really going to be wanting to shell out. Keep in mind that this is a very, very busy summer for combat sports. I mean, just the week before this event takes place, fight fans are going to be shelling out $80 to see International Fight Week, UFC 303. And if Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler remain as the main event, that's going to take up a lot of the wallet space that otherwise could go to Diaz and Masvidal too. Yes, it's very expensive to be a fight fan these days. It is important to note that this is sort of marketed as an early pricing, and if you look at the FanMeal website, it also details a couple other things that come with this quote-unquote pay-per-view general ticket. It includes, and I quote, Nate Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal pay-per-view. Included with each pay-per-view is an exciting full main card of fights. And finally, 5 winners will get a signed boxing glove by Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. So, I mean, there is some sort of potential merchandise here, but realistically, I mean, 5 people are going to win this out of however many thousands are going to buy. Probably not worth your $79.99 if you're asking me. But if this is in fact some sort of early pricing, or this is something just tied directly to some sort of sweepstakes for actual merchandise, then I do expect this price to drop as the event nears. If I were you as a fight fan that's trying to dedicate money to whatever events that you want to watch, I would hold off on this and not order the early pay-per-view unless you really, really, really want that signed boxing glove that you might be one of the 5 people to win. Cool. But otherwise, just wait, and maybe this price drops. I can't imagine that you pay the $79.99 now, the price drops in a couple of weeks, and then they refund you any difference. So just hold on, and there will probably be a drop in price. If not, then, you know, suck it up and pay that $70.99 when the time comes. So what do you think? How much is this fight worth to you? How much are you willing to pay to see Jorge Masvidal and Nate Diaz 2 in the boxing ring? Remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell that friend to tell 10 more friends. Stay locked into Ringside Intel. I'm Ant Walker. Peace.